the goat debate,
Do you
know.
know
So
how blessed we are to be living in an era when there is both Messi and Ronaldo?
to the woman who boss, Julia Stuart, is a broadcaster with SuperSport International. She's our guest on Sports Check. Julia, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
How was your stay?
It's been amazing to be here, getting used to the heat.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, I'm really loving Ghana. I was not expecting anything when I arrived here, just to be part of Women of Valor. And my trip has given me so much. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Have you tried any of our foods yet?
Yeah, of course I have. Everyone's always going on about Ghana versus Nigeria.
Jollof.
So I definitely had to have some jollof rice. Plenty, actually.
But have you tried Nigeria and jollof? And if you're going to rate, you haven't tried?
No, I haven't. So it's 1-0 to Ghana at the moment.
Energy. Great. So Julia is a studio anchor and a pitch-side reporter with SuperSport International. If you don't know, she's doing amazing stuff. She's a big inspiration to millions of people worldwide, including women. Now, Julia, we know that, okay, so the light, sound, camera, action, and then we see you on set, you're talking and all that. How do you handle bad days?
Yeah, if I'm having a bad day, personally, you won't see that on screen.
Great.
You can't, because people pay a lot of money for DSTV subscription and they don't care about how you feel if you're having a terrible hair day or you don't like the place you're in, or none of that's got to matter. It's part of being the consummate professional to be able to fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Right? That's what it's all about. So I think personally, if I am having a bad day, I don't think you would be able to know.
Great.
And that's part of learning how to deal with your emotions and how to manage, and knowing when you have to step up and step out, and like you said, lights, camera, action.
We go. Great. Now, you've been a big inspiration to a lot of people, women. I also love what you do. I watch you and I'm like, oh God, you've got it. Did you always, was it always the thing that you wanted to be a media personality when you were young? Was that what you wanted to do?
No, I had no clue. I actually had to take a gap year after matric, because I didn't know what I wanted to study. I just didn't know. And I studied film and media production. So it wasn't a journalism course. It wasn't with the intention of going to SuperSport. I kind of just found my way. And, I'm a firm believer of, if something is meant for you, it will find you. It was not easy. It was not easy. But it was a path that I am very grateful to have been able to navigate in my own way. And I think the journalism base that I have, having started as a print reporter, understanding how to construct news stories, understanding how to construct arguments from my university days, I think that I've tried to carry that into my presentation, in the way I ask questions, in the way you have to be brave to ask tough questions in the face of sometimes a defeat. A coach has just lost a game and he doesn't necessarily want to answer, or there's a red card or a penalty that wasn't given. Those are difficult. So I always go back to the basic principles of journalism and carry that into my presentation. But I definitely did not think I would be a SuperSport presenter or land in Ghana and people would know who I am. Unbelievable scenes.
That's
Come
crazy.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, you got big fans and all that. I remember one scene, was it last year, the gentleman saying wanted to take a picture with you. You have a lot of fans everywhere scattered.
But you know what the thing is? Negativity is louder. So the people who feel entitled, who want to say horrible things about you, they always make sure you know, and they do that on social media regularly. So when I do get a nice message, or when there is an incident like happened at the Cape Town City game, that's my hometown, by the way, Cape Town. Okay. So a fan had written on the board that he wants to take a picture. That was amazing. But, big love from the people out in Ghana. We're on billboards here, by the way, because of Women of Valor.
Great.
I landed and I was like, hey, is that me? Wow.
Your face all over.
Yeah, but I've received a lot of love. And you know what? I appreciate it. I don't take that for granted. For someone to come up to you and say, I like what you do. You give me encouragement to also try and do better. I want to follow in your footsteps. I always tell people to make their own path, though. But to see that and to hear that in a country where you've only been for a couple of days is remarkable.
It's a big deal. As I stated, I'm not going to lie. I'm also a young journalist, and then I love what you do. When I put down the people that inspire me, your name is definitely on there. Yeah, great. You're doing amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
So for a young girl who says she wants to be like Julia, she wants to be on the big screens. Of course, you've been through it all. What would your advice be to that woman or that young girl?
So when I was growing up, there was no one who looked like me on TV doing sport. So it's not something I thought was possible or something I wanted to do or one day I'm going to be there. It's not. I came into it because of my hard work, and the more I worked, the more I found opportunities. And I've always said, it doesn't matter your connections. It doesn't matter how you get into a place. The only way you're going to stay and make a name for yourself is through work ethic. And it doesn't matter. I don't care about being the prettiest or looking the nicest or sounding the best or having the best clothes. I care about being the hardest worker in the room. And that is what has got me to where I am today. So whether you want to be a journalist or you want to be an actor or you want to be, just thinking about the women who were at Women of Valor yesterday, you want to be a lawyer or whatever, you're not going to get anywhere without putting in the hours. Because nothing worth having will come easy. And you maybe it's not about studying or working hours. Maybe it's about the thinking that you do about what you want to do, or maybe it's you're putting in effort, whatever that is, and there'll be hours and hours of perfecting what you want to do. And then also just be open, change path if things are not working for you, or be true to yourself. Because if you want to be a journalist or you want to be a presenter in sport because there's space and there's more space, they need more women, but you don't love sport, you'll be found out very quickly. So yeah, follow your passions and all of that advice that we always get, follow your passions. But just put in the work. There's no substitute for it. Yeah.
So you mentioned of work ethics, you have to like what you want, and then building the long hours that you have to put in before, because it's not rosy. Some people, I'm sure some people hit your DM like, oh, I want to be like you, I want to mentor you. I don't know if you get more of that, but then for popular personalities here in Ghana, they always talk about women hit their DMs, like direct messages, and like, I want you to be. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. It's a lot. You cannot attend to all of them at the same time. But then for you, for someone who might watch this interview, what are the values that one must possess as a woman who is really destined? You want to get into this career, you want to get into this space, whether male dominated or not.
So the one thing I'll tell you is, women hit up my DMs. What did you study? What must I study? Where must I study? Please, people, I'm not Google. Go and look it up. Go and do your own research. You have to, anything you want to do, you have to be educate yourself on the subject matter, right? So that's the first thing.
Right.
I'm also not a recruiter for universities. I don't know what the options are, where you can study, what your grades are like. So I can never answer that. Mm-hmm. But what gets me every time is women saying, so must I really study the whole 4 years? Or isn't there another way? Do I have to study?
There's no shortcut.
Well, we live in an age of instant gratification. I think the idea that you're going to make it because you're pretty, pretty lasts for like 5 minutes on TV, and then what else do you have? So you have to have substance, you have to have passion for this thing, because we work on weekends. I work at 9 to 5. I work weekends, we travel, holidays, people are working. We are working here, So you have to be really passionate, because if you don't love it, you will resent those hours. You won't like it. Your camera ladies are standing in the sun on what day is today? Wednesday morning. They'd rather be in the pool.
Exactly.
But it's not always pleasant. The things you see on Instagram that we post, the interviews, or I went on a drive with a Formula E driver in a Porsche up Table Mountain. Amazing. But hey, that's not every day. So understand that it's not all glamour. And if you want glitz and glamour, then maybe this is not the best place for you. It's not the best industry. You have to be prepared. That is the most important thing. Because as women, unfortunately, we have to work twice as hard for people to think we are half as good as men. Even though people know you and they think, oh, she's good for a woman, or she's the best woman, or she's the nicest woman to look at. It's always going to be like that for us, unfortunately. Just accept it, but make sure you represent. Because if they're giving you a chance as a woman, there are like thousands of other women who also love to get the chance. So you have to represent, you have to do well, so that the next time there's a woman, they won't hesitate to give her an opportunity.
A woman. Great.
Yeah.
Now, but just because you said that, you've been in the space, you've owned the space, what has been some of your greatest challenge in the, you talking sports, being in what they term as a male-dominated area?
I think, firstly, I was saying this at Women of Valor yesterday. I think everything is male-dominated. Okay, the world is run by men, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because we are not leading the world. Maybe just the beauty industry is female-dominated. So,
yeah, even with now, there are a lot of men getting in there. Yeah.
So I think that the words that I say or the advice that I have, based on my experiences, I'm finding that it's not just restricted to sports. Women in corporate, women in politics, we all experience the same thing. So just accept that this system was not designed for you, right? So that's the first thing. And I think you have to understand that you are different and you're going to be different. So some of my highlights have sometimes come because I'm a woman. And I don't mean because I look nice today. I mean, I think about the interview with Coach Pitso Mosimane. That was an iconic interview. Okay. They were playing Wydad Casablanca. He was the coach of Sundowns at the time. And there was some stuff going on off air. And they were making some racist comments. And we didn't really pick that up on camera. So while I was doing my interview with him, Sundowns won, by the way. And one of the guys from Wydad Casablanca came and stood by the camera and was having a proper go at him and saying really ugly things. And he lashed out. They called the interview "Sort Him Out" because that's what he was shouting. Hey, sort him out. And I'm standing there with our microphone while everything is happening. We're live. And that was one of my greatest moments because I think, firstly, I understood that I have to take control of the situation or they'll go to break.
Great.
Right. And I'll lose it. Secondly, actually, this is number one. I was thinking, I'm going to become a meme. I'm going to become a joke on the internet. I'm going to trend for
everywhere.
Being ridiculous. I have to take control of the situation.
Own it.
And I did. I stepped up and I explained what was happening. All adrenaline based that you can't plan for something. You can never plan for live TV. But afterwards, when he calmed down, the empathy that I had, I think as a woman, naturally,
you have a lot
made it a little bit easier for him to calm down and come back to the moment and answer the question. Sometimes you find that coaches as well you're more asking the human side of things because you're a woman and they're more likely to be a little bit more open. We have that natural nurturing thing which makes our interviews a little bit different to how our male counterparts would conduct it. Yeah, I think we can be a combination of strong and hard-hitting, but also empathetic.
We're all three sisters. We can do all the things.
Yeah.
You talked about when you want to own your space, someone says, I want to be like Julia. You have to really have knowledge of what you're doing. So when you're talking sports, you know what you're talking. You'll be found wanting if you just think it's just the pretty face and all that. So I just want to find out from you, how did the passion for sports develop? Was it from your dad? Because with me, I kind of started from home. My dad was watching football and all that. Yeah. How did yours develop?
Yeah, same. Just having something in common with my dad, something to talk to my dad about, going to live matches in Cape Town, watching Premier League games in Cape Town, where I grew up. And then sports is, the more you know, the more you want to know. And so, you become obsessed because now it's opened up a whole new group of people that you chat to. The boys at school. I was always the only girl, the only Arsenal fan at school, able to talk to them. And yeah, I think I cannot believe that someone is paying me to watch football. Like my bum is in the butter. How did I get so lucky? Yeah.
I see. Great. We're still talking to Julia. We'll take a quick break. This is Sports Check on GhanaWeb TV. I'm Paula Amma Broni. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Sports Check on GhanaWeb TV. I'm seated with Julia Stewart. Julia, I was going through your Instagram and I chanced upon a post like the best advice you've received. Just stay in your lane. Comparison is the thief of joy. Does that still remain like one of your favorite advice?
Yeah. You know, people will try and say, oh, did you see what, hey, Paula, did you see what your colleague is doing? Hey, Paula, did you see your colleague's got this and that's happening? And you'll see on Instagram, oh, this one got to go to this game, or this one got to interview that, or she owns this item of clothing, or she has this kind of bag. And you'll spend your whole day miserable. Like, it's so important to understand. I've said this in the early part of the interview. The things that are meant for you won't pass you by. It's the hardest thing to know and to believe. How come someone's getting this right? When is my turn? The things that are meant for you will come for you. And the older I get, the more I work in this industry, I think back to things I missed out on. Oh, why didn't I get to work on that tournament? But other things have come and maybe better suited to me. I saw an interview recently with Letitia Wright from Black Panther.
Yeah.
And I love this. She said, it's not rejection, it's redirection. And when you feel rejected or something that you wanted maybe isn't happening for you, it's very easy to compare yourself. But like the quote says, it's the thief of joy. You won't enjoy where you are right now.
Just stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, honey. It's nice here. There's no traffic. You can drive however fast or slow you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Great. It's still one of the best advice. I also love to say whatever got my name on it is not going to pass me by. It's something
Beautiful.
I say, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love
You
that
have
you
to-
also said it too.
You have to be your own competition. When I started, those words, people will say, you know, this one, did you see what this one is doing? Oh, how come this one? And it's always women. You know, they divide and conquer is the way people try and deal with women. We also do it ourselves. We try and internalize it ourselves. But why? Can we also form a girls' club? Can we also change the culture from within? Can we also start to understand that things that are mine will be mine?
Exactly.
And maybe that's meant for me in that moment. Maybe something else wasn't meant for me.
Great.
Yeah, very
Great.
important.
Yeah. So, Julia, coming from South Africa, going to the world stage, SuperSport International, would you say that the space is big enough to accommodate other women?
Yeah, 100%. There is so much space for everyone to shine, whether that be here in Ghana, on the Accra sports scene. I met so many TV broadcasters yesterday. So I know that there are a lot of women in sport, in the city, let alone this country. And we make a mistake. We think that there's only space for one woman to do well, but that's not true. There's space for everyone. And some people might be online, some people might be on TV, some people might be radio, some people might specialize in pitch side reporting, some people might specialize in studio anchoring, some might be great with podcasts. You just have to find what works for you and what you love.
Great. So who are some of the well-known female broadcasters? In Ghana, we say we have Juliet
Yes,
Bewa.
I know Juliet Bewa.
Julia.
I was with her at the World Cup.
Yeah.
She was also doing some work for SuperSport there. My friend Chisom Mbono Ezuke, she's from Nigeria. She is amazing. And what I love about her, she's so passionate about telling stories. And she is really passionate about telling Nigerian football stories. She produces as well, so I think she's brilliant. She's one I really look up to, her storytelling ability. And then I know that cricket isn't big here, but Cass Naidu is a powerhouse of a woman. She's South African.
Okay.
She works cricket on SuperSport, and she does tours and stuff for Sky as well. Cass runs a foundation and a set of women's awards called the G Sports for Girls Awards, and she is phenomenal. The way she started the website to tell women's sports stories, women in sports, the way she started the awards, and it grows year on year. I actually hosted it last year.
Okay.
I don't know how she does it because she has a family and she does this job herself, by the way, and then she still runs a foundation and does all these amazing things that highlights and bring the profile of women's sport more into the spotlight. So I really look up to her, not because she's a fantastic broadcaster, which she is, but because she's using her power for good to help others come up, to mentor others. and also to put women's sport on the map.
Great. So there are a lot of women who are also in sports, doing things that would also, more of encourage young people who want to get into the field. Now, I know, let's talk more of women football. You've covered the FIFA Women's Cup and all that. It's a big deal and all that. But I just want to find out, do you think how possible, because some people, I'm not even going to say some people, I would testify that when it comes to the Men's World Cup, there's a lot of eyeballs and all that. There's a whole lot, everybody want to know what is going on. What can we do to also ensure that when it gets to the FIFA Women's World Cup, we get a lot of attention and all the euphoria that it is, like, do better?
I do think that the FIFA Women's World Cup was fantastic the last time around, and I think the fallback from that, we saw Spain promising to put more money into their local league. And I know that in China as well, in the USA, they were going to put more money into it because the women's FIFA Women's World Cup were getting the highest number of TV viewers that they ever had before. The Women's Euros final was sold out at Wembley last year. I think there is improvement. Sponsors are stepping up to the plate. It's not even about equality. Although teams like this American women's team deserve to get the same amount, if not more, money than the men's team.
I saw that
because
news.
they won multiple World Cups. Last time, I know the US was back at the World Cup at Qatar 2022, but before that, they didn't even qualify. So in those cases, yes, they need to be rewarded. It's definitely about sponsorship and TV. And how it works is the more women in leadership roles in sponsorship can decide where the money goes. The more women in leadership roles in TV can decide where the money goes, where the rights go, what they're going to show. And I was pleasantly surprised at the number of men who messaged me to say, loved your work on the FIFA Women's World Cup semi-final. I was like, great that they're watching. I think we're changing it, not even slowly anymore. I think female athletes are becoming household names, already, not just because there's a daughter in the house who plays football. But I want to say that the ICC Women's T20 Cricket World Cup in South Africa was just completed. Sold out stadiums.
Making
that
progress.
Is all about the marketing.
Great.
That is also all about the ICC as a sporting body saying, we need sellouts. And they've managed it. It was phenomenal. There was obviously a lot of celebration, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement because South Africa reached the final, the Momentum Proteas. They lost, unfortunately, but it was their first ever final. So, if we can repeat that, if we can replicate that in football, mind you, Barcelona was reaching record crowds for their Women's Champions League matches. And so I think we're getting there. I don't think women's football, maybe in Africa, the mentality is still busy changing.
Yeah,
maybe that's what you mean. But I think worldwide,
Great.
we are getting there, girl.
Great. For the international, I think we are getting there and all that. But then locally on our continent, what can we do to get more eyeballs and all that?
We need to get women in power, in positions of power. And the women who are in positions of power need to back women. Because sometimes you find that it's harder. Like coming up, I was having this discussion with Nana Abba and she said to me, the people who have helped her in her career, when she thinks back, it's been a lot of men, like giving her a show, giving her a space, or encouraging her. Then I thought back to my own career. Robert Marawa, that's the person who said to me, be on my show. That's the first chance I got on TV. That's when people first saw me. My first news editors were men.
Wow.
So why are we not changing that in this day and age? The women, the people who've made my life difficult at work, unfortunately, have been women. So why are women not helping other women and women's sports? The people who are big sponsors. At CAF, we have women who are involved. Why are they not doing more? In my own country, I have to say, women's teams, every professional team does not have a women's team as well. And that's long past time for that to happen, Mamelodi Sundowns doing so well in the CAF Women's Champions League. They won it. They were in the final. They represent, but not every team in our professional league has a women's team.
We have to do better. If it's starting from the stations, positions and all that, we have to do better. And as I say, if we get to the top, we also have to create room for other women to follow that path. But do you see a female head in CAF maybe one time soon?
I don't know about our attitude within this continent. I don't know if we're ready for it.
We're ready for it.
Not that there's no woman who can lead.
We have a lot.
It's not that.
We have.
Are we ready
To.
for it? To accept?
Great.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think we are born ready. It's just that some people might think that, oh, she's not qualified. The whole thing that comes with it. But then trust me, if we're given that position, we can do way better.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not that women are not ready. It's the mentality of people, men and women, to say, can a woman do it? Can a woman lead? What? And the strange thing is, she won't just be judged on the job she's doing. She'll be judged on who she looks, who she associates with, what her hair's like, what clothes she's wearing. That's what we still face.
But I love your style. Come to clothes. I love your style, the way you style. But wait, but between sneakers and heels, what are you going to go for?
Depends.
Depends.
On the occasion. If I can get away with wearing sneakers every day, I will do that. Obviously not now. I'm wearing flip-flops right now, sandals, because it's so hot here.
In Ghana.
But yeah, especially in the World Cup, I curated my own look.
Yeah.
With help from our SuperSport stylist. We have help. We have an amazing stylist at SuperSport.
Great.
Her name is Taryn. She doesn't just do style, she does image consulting.
Great.
So you say, this is what I want to look like. This is the brand I want to project.
And she creates it.
That. Yeah.
I love your style,
Thank
definitely.
you.
If I was supposed to rate your closet, I would not waste a minute. Yeah.
It's difficult. I buy so much clothes because it's work clothes and real life clothes. And yeah, if I have like 5 different black blazers because,
you
you're
have
on TV
to.
3 or 4 times a week. So
Exactly.
you can't wear the same. Taryn won't let us wear one outfit twice in a season.
Oh,
She's crazy like that. Like, no one remembers. I remember. That's what she'll say.
the image is important too.
Very. I've had to learn that. I never knew that. Starting out in this business, I thought,
Anything goes.
and we have to wear those boxy big blazers and a shirt. We are not men. And men know it. We are not men. Even if you dress like a man, they know.
I get
I love
that.
what you're wearing as well, though. So
Thank you.
I think you have your own thing going on.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap, I just want to find out who are your favorite Ghanaian players?
Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey.
Okay.
I hope he wins the Premier League
Me
this
too.
season.
I'm
Yeah.
also an Arsenal fan, so
Amazing.
That makes us
Arsenal
too.
fans are so traumatized. People think we care about being top and falling off top. We are just enjoying life.
I
right
felt like
now
we were
because the
so
team is
close to
winning.
it, but hey,
No,
there's
it
still
does.
hope.
No. I'm just enjoying that we're playing beautiful football and winning. I have not seen that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Emirates Stadium and even to watch Arsenal beat Man United.
Okay.
And even the mood in the stadium is just different.
Crazy.
So, love Thomas Partey.
Partey.
Riyad Mahrez, I think, is one who is very underrated in that Man City team. But he's phenomenal.
Great.
Mo Salah, of
Mo
course.
Salah too.
Just African footballers in general, and Sadio Mane. Hey,
Sadio.
what happened when
I
he
like
left
Sadio.
Liverpool? Right. So then from Ghana as well, of course, my friend Asamoah Gyan, your legend. Absolutely adore him. What a guy. He's the reason I'm here. He put me in touch with
Oh,
Nana
great.
Abamoah, yes.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Asamoah.
shout out to Baby Jets. I think Kudus.
Mohamed Kudus too.
Phenomenal,
He's
right?
one of our star
he
players.
is, and he's going to make a really, really big, not that Ajax isn't big, but he's going to make an even bigger move. I think Tariq Lamptey,
Tariq Lamptey
He
too. I
told
saw
me
you
to
on
have-
interview.
he
too.
told me to have jollof rice here. Yes, we were interviewing him for SuperSport and Premier League. So those are some of the ones I love currently. Thomas Partey, #1 for me at the moment.
Okay.
What he's doing this season and the role he's playing is just phenomenal.
Great. Then the women footballers for the Nigerian footballer who plays for Barcelona, Asad Oshola.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people think that they haven't given her flowers. Do you think that she's celebrated enough?
I think so.
You
I think
think
she
so?
is. You know what it is? It's Putellas is winning all the Ballon d'Ors and she's winning all the FIFA awards. So it feels like Asad Oshoala isn't getting the same kind of recognition.
But she's an amazing
No,
player.
she's
she
a
is
superstar.
amazing.
I don't
Yeah.
think anyone doesn't think that she is.
Great.
We have some phenomenal female players from South Africa, Banyana ladies, who are doing such big things and they are playing internationally. It is brilliant to see, man. Brilliant to see. Like we have Tembi Khatlana who's playing in America right now.
Okay.
There's Jermaine Seposenwe who's doing well. There's Janine van Veek who's doing well. There's Linda Mutlalo.
The
And,
list
all our
goes
girls
on.
are just making waves overseas and they are household
Code
names.
names.
I'm not ashamed to say when I started, and maybe only knew Portia Modise, I could name 1 or 2 South African female players' names. Now, probably the whole starting 11 I can do.
I
you know?
see.
Amazing,
Great.
amazing. That's change. That's change. If a woman who is speaking on football can tell you that,
A lot. That's
change.
change.
Yeah.
So great. Final one. Who is the GOAT in football? Let me just get it from Julia.
I think this is, I'm sorry, with all due respect, such a silly question.
Really?
Because
The
people-
debate?
Yeah.
The GOAT debate,
Do you
know.
know
So
how blessed we are to be living in an era when there is both Messi and Ronaldo? Messi's not paying me to say he's the GOAT. I watch both and enjoy both. The records that they have been setting, the fact that they are still playing at this age and maturing like fine South African wine, you know, it is remarkable to me. Just shows that the mind is the most powerful thing. Some of the goals that we've seen them score, some of the records that we've seen them break, long-standing records from men like Diego Maradona, from men like Pele, those kinds of things that we are seeing and witnessing right now. I'm getting involved in those debates.
yeah. So even with the GOAT, it doesn't really have to boil down to Messi or Ronaldo. Like
Yes.
for you mentioned Pele or not. That me,
Yeah.
Pele still is my greatest, But
Yeah.
the current one would just choose Ronaldo or Messi. But yeah, before we wrap up, Julia, your final words, your advice to women as we celebrate International Women's Day. So a woman who wants to be in a male-dominated space and all that. What would your advice be to that person?
It's such a hard one. How do you sum it up? It's going to be difficult. There is no easy path to it.
Great.
And as long as you maintain your integrity, as long as you do what you are comfortable with, as long as you give your best every day,
You've got it.
you've got this. Yeah,
Right.
you absolutely have got this. That's all. There's no secret to it. There's no special spice,
Do it.
no recipe. No, it's just about doing you, because your power is that no one is like you. There's only one you.
Thank
so
you.
just show up every day. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julia. It was a pleasure. It was an honor sitting with you to,
Thank you for having
talk
me.
everything sports and all that. Yeah, great,
Thank you.
great. So I did this with Julia Stuart. She is broadcaster with SuperSport International. We had an amazing conversation with Talk Women's Sports. It was a 360. I know that you really enjoyed this interview. Special one on Sports Check. I am Paula Amma Broni. Thanks for doing the watching.